Hi, and welcome to today's fertility tip. I'm Heather Rodriguez. We're going to be talking about nutrition and the fertility diet. So there's a what, a when, and a why to this, and why you should use nutrition for your fertility and in preparation for pregnancy. There's a lot of different reasons, so we'll go ahead and start with the why. So nutrition plays a really big role in helping the body to heal from any type of issue, regardless if it's fertility or not. Nutrition has an impact on a lot of different areas of the body. So for instance, it can have an impact on hormonal balance, it can have an impact on ovulation, uterine lining, egg health, all the different areas of fertility, nutrition has an impact on. So knowing how to eat for fertility and what foods to avoid to best support your body as you're going through this journey is a must. So that's why I start with fertility diet. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna start with the how. So there's a couple different things. There's what to eat and what not to eat. So we're going to start talking about those. And it's actually pretty simple. It might be very different from how you're eating right now, but it doesn't have to be super complicated. So there's a couple different things. The foods that you're eating can have an impact on your body in a positive way and in a negative way. There's foods that can help to fight inflammation and reduce that. So that's going to help those of you experiencing PCOS or endometriosis. There's also foods that have antioxidants, and those foods are going to help protect the integrity of the egg health and sperm health. There's also foods that are really nutritious and rich in iron and rich in protein that can help you build your uterine lining. So there's a lot of different ways that nutrition can help you. There's also different types of foods that could possibly harm you or cause more issues when it comes to hormonal imbalance or causing inflammation. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So when you're eating the fertility diet, there's like the list of what to eat. What is a fertility diet? What foods are you eating? What does it look like? So a fertility diet is one that focuses in on eating nutrient-dense whole foods. So you're eating a diet that's void of processed foods. You're eating a diet that has an abundance of foods in their traditional, natural form, the way that they look when they've grown, when they've been harvested. So this is going to include fruits, whole fruits. It's going to include vegetables of all sorts, whole grains, and by whole grains what I mean are grains in their original form. So that's going to be quinoa, wild rice, brown rice, millet, oats, millet, I already said millet, teff. There's a lot of different grains, but they're basically in their whole form and then you're cooking them. Meats and fish, and beans and legumes, as well as healthy fats, nuts and seeds, avocados, coconuts, and nut oils, and some limited dairy depending on your fertility issues. Some of you will want to omit dairy, but we'll go into detail in a couple of these different items so that you kind of know what you can do and what forms you want to actually use them in. So the first is going to be fruits. So fruits in their whole form, intact with all of their fiber, with their skin, is great. You can use these in smoothies, you can just eat them straight. You're not going to want to do fruit juices though. Fruit juices are concentrated sugar, the fiber's been taken out, and that can cause blood sugar spikes, which can definitely affect your hormonal balance and your hormonal health. The other is vegetables. You can have all vegetables. You can have vegetable in juice form, you can have vegetables in your smoothies, you can have vegetables raw, steamed, cooked, roasted, grilled, however you want. Eat your vegetables. Vegetables are going to play a really big part in the fertility diet because they contain fiber, they contain phytonutrients, they contain minerals. All of those are going to have a great impact on hormonal balance and fighting inflammation, as well as containing antioxidants. So vegetables are a really big part of eating a healthy fertility diet. Now, whole grains are included because they're very high in B vitamins, and they also contain healthy fibers and carbohydrates, a very slow releasing carbohydrate. So whole grains are great for energy. They're great to help to give you calories because some of these other foods are actually pretty low in calories, such as vegetables. Meats and fish. I know some of you are vegetarian and vegan, and that's totally fine, but you do not need to be vegetarian or vegan to eat a fertility diet. So including meats is going to be an easy way to get many of the different components, such as folate, iron, into your diet. But eating grass-fed meats is going to be very important. Grass-fed meats have been shown through studies to contain way more essential fatty acids, especially omega-3, because of what the animals have eaten. So an animal that is not grass-fed is going to have focused in on corn, and corn is not going to do the same thing in the body as grass does. So grass-fed meats are going to be great. Wild-caught fish is fantastic. It's, again, very high in essential fatty acids. Chickens, all kinds of things. You can have any of those. The only thing to think of is where the source is and the quality of the meat. I know that organic meats can be expensive or grass-fed meats can be expensive. You don't have to eat a whole lot of it. So this is an area that is definitely going to be important. The next is beans and legumes. And many of you may not be used to eating beans. I know it's not the most popular category of food to be eating, but beans and legumes contain a lot of fiber and are very rich in folate. And we'll go over folate here in just a minute, but folate is very important, especially in early pregnancy. And you can eat canned beans. Don't worry about it. You don't have to cook your beans from scratch. Beans are one of the quickest foods that you can add to your salads. You can quickly heat up for a meal, make tacos, whatever it is. Beans are easy. They're a fast food. Start liking them. The next is going to be healthy fats. Healthy fats are so absolutely important because they are the building blocks for healthy hormones. If you're not eating enough healthy fats, you may have some issues with producing enough hormones, or your hormonal ratios may be out of balance. So examples of healthy fats are going to be avocado, they're going to be coconut oil, grass-fed butter, avocado oil, olive oil, nuts and seeds. So almonds, cashews, pine nuts, walnuts, any of those things are going to be healthy fats. Chia seeds, those are awesome. And you actually don't need a lot of them to get your daily allowance of essential fatty acid, omega-3. So I'll give you some ideas in some other videos on how to get healthy fats into your diet very easily. Also, hemp seeds are another great source of healthy fats. And then the last is dairy. A lot of you are going to ask, can I eat dairy? Can I not eat dairy? You don't have to take dairy out of your diet. It depends on what your fertility issues are and if it would be beneficial. So for example, someone with PCOS, do your own research on this, but someone with PCOS, it is best to cut out dairy because dairy turns straight into sugar in the system. Those with endometriosis, you may want to test taking dairy out because it can also possibly exacerbate the pain that you're experiencing with the endometriosis. Same for red meat with endometriosis. Testing taking that out of the diet and maybe just focusing on chicken and fish and beans and those types of items. We've seen a reduction in inflammation and pain for people experiencing endometriosis. So there are some tweaks that you would need to do depending on what is going on with you and your fertility. So dairy, don't necessarily have to cut it out, maybe a little bit, having some cheese, but again, grass-fed is going to be so much better for you than traditional. Also, the reason that I tout organic so much is because not necessarily, yes, studies have shown that the vegetables are more nutritious because there's soil health, there's integrity in how they're building, how they're growing these vegetables. But also conventional vegetables are having compounds and pesticides and herbicides sprayed on them, such as glyphosate. And glyphosate is a compound that has been shown to directly affect hormonal health, directly affect reproduction of not only yourself, as well as your offspring. And it has also been shown to increase estrogen and mimic estrogen within the body. So this is what is being sprayed on fruits and vegetables to keep bugs off of them. So that is another reason to definitely learn about the dirty dozen, learn about what main vegetables are important to buy organic, and definitely do that. Don't let it keep you from eating vegetables. But also, these compounds are being used and sprayed on the food that is fed to the meat animals. So that is being sprayed onto the corn that's being fed to the cows, and they're eating a large amount of this, and then it's stored within the fat of their body. While when you're eating meat and you're eating dairy, there is the animal fat. So you're getting it from a lot of different directions. That's one of the reasons that I talk about organic a lot and how important that is. And you are able to get healthy, nutritious vegetables that are grown organically. Search them out. Even Costco is carrying them. So it's definitely doable. All right, so those are the foods that you can eat. You're gonna be focusing on non-processed foods, okay? So what foods to avoid? Processed foods. So you're wanting things that are basically on the outside of the grocery store. Go to your local farmer's market if you can. You're wanting foods in their natural form. Processed foods, these are foods that are coming in boxes that are no longer in their original form. An example is bread, donuts, pastas. There are some pastas that are fine because they're 1 or 2 ingredients such as quinoa or corn or rice pasta, but you're definitely wanting foods that are not processed. So the reason for that is when you process foods, you're taking out the fiber, and then there's a blood sugar spike when you eat them. So when you're eating bread that does not have fiber in it, say you're eating white bread or you're eating a donut or a bagel or whatever it is, the fiber's been taken out. It's been milled. So that is going to turn into sugar in your blood very quickly, having a response to that, which in turn has an effect on hormonal balance. That's the short story of it. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's what's happening. And it happens pretty immediately. The next is to avoid refined sugars. So these are going to be white sugars. These are going to be things that are not in their original form. Replace these with honey, maple syrup. These are sugars that are in their original form. They look how they've always looked. They don't look different. They're not bright white. They're not in tiny little granules. Even better yet, there are some replacements such as monk fruit that you can use, xylitol, stevia. These things won't even spike your blood sugar at all. So start looking into those sugar alternatives or using honey and maple syrup in place of refined sugar. Caffeine. Not saying that you have to quit your coffee, but if you are someone who has experienced miscarriages, recurrent miscarriages, or are estrogen dominant, do some more research on caffeine and caffeine consumption. You might want to bring that way down or take it out completely. It does have a direct effect on increasing estrogen and possibly increasing the risk of miscarriage, unfortunately. Alcohol. Alcohol turns into sugar in the blood. It's not that you can never have a glass of wine again or anything like that. There are some wines out now that are very low sugar, but just think about that, how alcohol does turn into sugar very quickly in the body. The next is gonna be soy, another food to avoid. I'm not talking about soybeans like edamame and tempeh. I'm talking about soy foods that are like soy meats that are condensed, that are soy foods that have a lot of soy in them. So what soy can do in concentrated amounts, that's the word I'm trying to find, in concentrated amounts can actually mimic estrogen within the body. So we're wanting to avoid those types of things. Just eat beans in their whole form instead, rather than these concentrated fake meats that can have a direct effect on your estrogen levels. That's one of the most common problems we run into, is some type of estrogen dominance, which puts the ratio of estrogen progesterone out of whack, affects everything. So just avoid that. And then the last is gonna be burnt and charred foods. So these are foods that, like, if you like your toast burnt, or you like your bacon burnt, or you really like to cook on the grill, stop burning your food. Burnt food is one of the main causes of free radicals within the body. We already have so many things we're having to fight on a daily basis. Don't burn your food so that you're using up your antioxidants just for a meal, rather than it being used on your body to heal it. Okay, so that's some things to avoid. We're gonna jump into now some of the most important nutrients. Like, there's a lot of different nutrients that are important when it comes to fertility and how the body works and metabolism and the hormonal cycle. It's very complex, but I'm gonna help simplify it. And there's a couple of nutrients that I would love for you to know about, so that on a daily basis, as you're eating, as you're making your food choices, you're thinking, hey, did I get this into my diet today? So the first is gonna be folate. Folate is a compound that is absolutely amazing. It is needed in early pregnancy, even before you can detect a pregnancy. So it's very important for this to be part of your fertility diet. Folate is used to help the nervous system be built of the baby, of the fetus, of the embryo, and it helps to make sure that the neural tube is formed correctly. So neural tube defect can be caused, it's also known as spina bifida, it can be caused by deficiency in folate. So if you've come from a diet that is very void of nutrients, definitely learn more about folate, learn about the foods that it's in. To give you a shortcut, lentils have your daily allowance of folate, as do a lot of other foods and meats and beans. So that's one of the reasons that I'm such a proponent of getting beans at least 2 to 3 times a week into your diet. The next nutrient is going to be fiber. Who knew fiber was a nutrient? Fiber helps the body to get rid of excess hormones, specifically estrogen. So making sure that you're eating fiber on a daily basis is important for hormonal regulation, helping the body to balance its hormones. If you're eating a whole food diet like we've talked about, you don't have to count your fiber. You're going to be getting plenty of fiber, especially if you're eating vegetables, fruits, and whole grains in that diet. Fiber is going to be amazing. The next nutrient is going to be vitamin C and other antioxidants found in diet. The easiest way to make sure you're getting antioxidants in the diet is to make sure you're eating plenty of colors. So for instance, vitamin C is very important for ovulation. Anyone who has vitamin C deficiency can have lack of ovulation. That's one of the main causes of lack of ovulation, is nutritional deficiencies. One of them happens to be vitamin C. You can find vitamin C in foods that are yellow, orange, red. You can also find other antioxidant-rich foods, anything that's bright in color. So blueberries, they're very blue and beautiful. Antioxidants. Green vegetables, antioxidants. Yellow vegetables, antioxidants. Anything that's a color. So really just simplifying it by eating a rainbow on a daily basis. And I'm going to share with you some tips on how to do that in just a minute. The next one's going to be iron. Women can be deficient in iron actually very easily, and iron is needed to help to build cells within the body, help to build up our blood, help with ovulation. If you are low or deficient in iron, that can actually cause you to not ovulate. So Iron, you can find it in dark leafy vegetables as well as meats. The only thing is some people are not able to absorb non-heme iron. There's non-heme, which is plant-based, and there's heme iron, which is meat-based iron. I eat very high plant-based diet, and I was still anemic and low in iron. I got some blood testing done. Everything else came fine. But then what I found out was I am not actually able to absorb iron from plants. So I had to make sure I was getting enough iron from animal products. Something to think about. It's not very common that this happens to people, but just so you know, some people have a hard time digesting and absorbing iron from plants. Just so you know. So iron's very important. Also, fats. Healthy fats. This is another nutrient that I want you to think about on a daily basis. Did I get my healthy fats today? Healthy fats are going to help to build hormones. They're going to help with cell function, with energy, so many different functions within the body. Healthy fats are extremely important. So what this means is no low-fat diet. Avoid a low-fat diet. Healthy fats, these are going to be found in nuts, seeds, healthy oils, coconut oil, avocados. An avocado a day is a great way to do it. A spoonful of hemp seeds and flax seeds and chia seeds on your salads and your smoothies. Very easy to do, but make sure you're getting healthy fats. Also fish. Eating fish a couple times a week is going to have a high amount of omega-3 fatty acid. You can also take a supplement such as a fish oil. That's going to be high in omega-3. So those are the foods that you want to make sure that you're having on a daily basis. They're just some of them. There's so many other nutrients that you are, that come in a natural fertility diet, but if you're focused on eating a whole food diet and eating from each of those categories, that's all you have to do. You don't have to really stress out. Did I eat a Brazil nut today, or did I get my lentils? Eating a wide variety like that will take care of all of that stuff. So now let's go ahead and jump in on how to get started eating a fertility diet today. So I find when people are getting started, there's two different types of personalities. There's the kind of person who kind of wants to ease into things, who wants to do some more research, needs to know every single thing. Totally fine. Find one thing that I'm going to mention here that works for you. Start that today. Do something today, whether it's I'm gonna have a salad, or I'm gonna go grocery shopping and put some more vegetables in my cart. Start with whatever one thing kind of excites you. Then there's the other personality type, and this happens to be my personality type, which is the gung-ho person who wants to go ahead and clean out their fridge, stock their pantry, start with some recipes, pull out that blender, then do it. I have a couple of different tools for you here. One of them is called the 21-Day Natural Fertility Diet Challenge. And this is a great way to get started. A lot of people like to do this during their fertility cleanse, but what you're doing is you're going to stick to a program for 21 days. And what this program focuses on is adding these five specific things to your diet on a daily basis. And I'll cover them here in a second. Instead of focusing on changing your diet overnight, just add these 5 things in, okay? So this is gonna do a couple of things. This is gonna get you started in learning how to incorporate these things into your diet, different recipes for doing this, but it's also going to change your taste buds. That is the coolest thing about the 21-Day Fertility Diet Challenge. I noticed after 2 weeks, your cravings start to change. You start wanting that crispy bell pepper. You're wanting the different flavors of the quinoa. Oh my God, quinoa is so great for breakfast. You're looking forward to your smoothie and so on. So that's what happens. Instead of trying to force yourself and feeling deprived, you change your taste buds through this process. So what the important 5 is, these are the 5 things you add on a daily basis during the 21-Day Fertility Diet Challenge. The first is you drink a quart of water first thing in the morning before you drink anything else, before you drink coffee, before you eat, so on. You drink a quart of water. You can add lemon to that, watermelon, cucumbers, whatever you want that allows you to drink that water. So that's the first one. The second is that every single day you have a smoothie. You want this smoothie to contain some greens and a superfood. And those are one of the other important 5. So you can kind of, a couple birds with a stone here. So a smoothie every single day. This smoothie needs to have antioxidant-rich fruits in them. No fruit juice, though. Use something like coconut water or almond milk or something like that as your liquid. The third is to include a fertility superfood. It's really easy to just put that right into the smoothie. So that's going to be like maca, royal jelly, hemp seeds, something like that. Add a superfood to your smoothie. The next thing is to eat a dark leafy green vegetable every single day. So that's kale, Swiss chard, cabbage, some type of dark leafy green, spinach. This can be cooked as a side dish. This can be put into your smoothie. Very simple. And then the last is to eat a salad every single day. So I mean a salad, like a whole meal salad, not a little side salad. So this is going to be something that's got greens in it, lettuces, vegetables, fruits, nuts, whatever you want to put in it. Some awesome dressing that's got a healthy fat as its base. That's going to be one of your meals. is to eat a healthy big salad. Also, you can also add a green juice to your day. I know not everyone has a juicer, and this is kind of like an advanced step. So once you know, yes, this is working for me, maybe invest in that juicer. If you don't have one, use a greens powder. So easy. You can add that to your smoothie. Very, very simple. So those are the important 5. That's a great way to jump in if you're really wanting to take this on and get motivated and have like a support system around you. We have a lot of information on the website about the 21-day fertility diet challenge. I also have an ebook that has recipes for all of the important 5 every single day, including fruit waters, smoothies, juices, soups, even some blended soups, and so on. So if you need some guidance and some recipes, check that out. You can see the link below, it'll be there. All right, that was a lot. I hope that you found this helpful, but it's very, very important. That's why I went into such great detail with you today, so you understood what the fertility diet was, how you can start implementing it today, what a big difference it can make. Read our success stories. We have a ton of them categorized by fertility diet, so you can see every success story, almost every single one of them, included the fertility diet, included dietary changes. They're the foundation to all of this. There's some amazing herbs, amazing supplements, amazing fertility therapies, and so on that you can implement, but diet is the foundation. Some of those things actually won't even work if your diet is not on par, especially if you're experiencing PCOS and endometriosis. All those things need to have diet in place as well. So if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you so much for joining me today. Look for tomorrow's tip.